Well, the other day I had someone, or I saw a comment where someone was talking about whether you should probably burn out or cover your nut plates for your fuel tank cover or not. So anyway, I was just doing that. I like to keep my wing on the rotator. I just pulled it out of the paint booth, pulled all the tape off, so I got my white, my black stripes and everything on here. So now while I still got it on the rotator, this is fun to do. I do everything I can on the wing before I hang it on the plane. So I'm just getting ready to start cutting out my lens, for this. I'm getting ready to install it. Well, I have attached the landing light. I'm getting ready to put the clips in and go ahead and install that. And you see here, I use some of this foam. It's a real narrow black foam. I like to use that around it. I think that was a Chuck deal, instead of using a lot of silicone. Now, I put this down when we put the plexiglass over it, and then I still run silicone, a bead around the edges anyway, just for the heck of it. But anyway, I'll do that, and I'll cut out and go ahead and install the navigation light. Out here, this has a nut plate right here, so I'm getting ready to burn a hole in there. This was already cut out. I test fit the light in there first, make sure everything's going to fit in it. But in any case, I do not. I just cover the nut plates with the fabric just like you normally would. I don't, try to locate them or anything. When you paint a lot, you kind of see in the light, you can kind of see some dimpled areas. But it's pretty easy. Just find the first one. And what I do is, you can find one of these nut plates, and I take a pick. This one's angled. You can see here where I poke some holes. I just kind of poke, kind of like your dentist playing with your teeth. I just kind of poke and I'll find those holes. That's a hole. Now, all the ones coming across this way and this way are 4.1 inches apart. So then all you have to do is, once you find one, let's just go ahead and get your 4.1 inches like that, and you'll see there's the next holes. And do the thing, just kind of poke it till you're sure you got the hole. Same thing, 4.1 inches. You go all the way on 4.1, 4.1, 4.1. And then the corner one, this one here, and then the corner one's the one you should have installed. That's not, these were installed by the factory on the skins. These we installed when we put the cap strips on. These corner ones you had to come back and install later. So just you can actually look up in there from there, or from the side here, and look up in there and find this one and locate it. But it actually ends up being about the same too. These over here are 5.1 inches apart. 5.1 inches apart. So just go down there. When you get to 5.1, just start poking around. See, now you can kind of see the rivets there. So you know that hole was in the middle. And sure enough, it was. I just poke it through so I know I've got a hole there. See? Do that. Same thing with this corner. You'll notice that on this inboard end, we put, if you remember when we installed them, the nut plates were on this side here of the cap strip, but we put the corner ones that did not line up with this side. It was on the inside, and then it lined up with the nut plates going in this direction. Okay, so if you draw a line across here, this nut plate should have lined up with this line of nut plates, but it will not line up with this line of nut plates here. Okay, these were to the outside. Same thing on this end, 4.1 all the way across, and then coming back up this way, 5.1 across. And you can see I've located them all. Once you've kind of located them with your pick and your ruler like that, then just take your soldering iron. That's what you can see I've already burned about 3 of them in here, but I thought I'd just show you one anyway. So then you just go back and just put that soldering iron in there. Let it go all the way down to where it touches, and I kind of move it around and get the edge and let it stay. You can see a little while. I want to be sure and burn that edge all the way off, just like that. And then that fabric and paint will kind of melt onto it. So I take a rag usually and just kind of wipe that end off and go all the way around. One thing, like I say, I go around the edge because I want to get most of that stuff that burns that's on the edge. I've had a couple of problems later with, I think, being gunked up or something, so I went to put the tank cover on and then putting the screws in. I couldn't get them to start well. I think it's because there's mess in there from this. So what I'm actually gonna do when I fit this cover here next is once I get these holes located, then I'm gonna put the cover on it and fit it and then match drill it. But I had some problems with the screws getting started, and it's a hard, because the tank cover is really like the last thing you're gonna do in the airplane. So you're having to climb up on ladders and work with it, you know, is reaching over, trying to get to these places. So what I actually do is when I put the tank cover on here in a minute and get it all fitted up, then I actually go ahead and take screws and get them started in all those holes so that I know for sure that if there's a problem, I can fix it now, you know, get the gunk out of it or get the nut plate in the right place or whatever. So anyhow, that's just kind of an easy way to locate those. It's not very difficult at all. You can see the nut plates have been very well protected that way by being covered through the whole process and not being left exposed, and makes it easier to do. So anyhow, we'll get that done and I'm gonna get this cover on.